So, to shade or not to shade, this is the full sleeve that I did. You could see it fully shaded. And with that, we're going to take it from the beginning all the way to the end. Anyways, we'll see you guys in a bit. Let's go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to TATtalk, your culture, your talk. So today, Friday, we are here going to be talking about to shade or not to shade. This podcast really is a platform for us to talk about culture, for us to talk about tattoos. Right now, it's Polynesian tattoos, but hopefully we can branch out and just talk more about just traditions altogether, because there's a lot of traditional type of tattooing, and we're going to get into that. So we're trying to create a platform to unite cultures and people everywhere. Today's topic, to shade or not to shade, the reason why I want to talk about that, I get a lot of clients that ask what's the difference, because there's a lot of different processes when it comes to tattooing. There's the outline. First, you have to freehand the design. Then you have to outline it. And then you shade in all the black. And they think it's done, and it could be done. Or you can come back and get shading. Now, a lot of clients actually never come back. There's a lot of people out there that they have to come back for shading, and they don't, because it looks good as it is and they're happy with it. So I want to walk you through the process through photos. In the future, we're going to talk a lot about culture and dive more into different Polynesian cultures and the way and styles that they tattoo. But we're just going to talk about shading today. Okay, so we're going to start off with a video. I'm going to show you guys a quick video of traditional hand tap. It's a Samoan style of tattooing. They use this style in other cultures as well, but this particular style of tattooing is Samoan, and Suluape Pilimo'o is the one that did it. So let's take a look. And this is me. This is my arm getting done. Never before seen footage live. Well, live showing to you guys. Anyways, this is Pilimo'o getting hand tap. I'm getting hand tap, my arm. And this is a traditional TATtalk. So right here, you could see this is right after, and there's my arm. I just want to show that because it was so swollen. You see my elbow? All right, there you have it. So when we talk about traditional tattoos, Polynesian tattoos, that's what it's like. The hand tap style. Here's another photo, a close-up photo right here. We have the comb. They hand tap it into the skin. Now, obviously, you can't shade and do shadows with that. It's more of a traditional way. When you do traditional tattoos, a lot of people think the pe'a, which is in a Samoan way. And here's a picture of a traditional pe'a. And there's no shading. It's traditional. It's black. It's all black. A lot of meaning, a lot of culture, a lot of tradition in that. And that was done in the way that you just saw. And by the way, real quick, Suluape Pilimo'o, he's in Hawaii right now. So reach out to him. You could check him out on Facebook. Again, Pilimo'o or Mo'o Tatau. That's his shop name. Like I said, this tattoo is pe'a, Samoan. Here's a photo of a traditional Tongan tattoo. It's similar, but it's not exactly the same as a Samoan one. Here's another traditional style. This is Marcasian. And I'm sure you guys seen these different traditional tattoos. They're each culture is different though. Hawaiian, Samoan, Tahitian, Marcasian. They're Polynesian because they're part of Polynesia. They're all specific to each culture. So, I'm going to show you guys some traditional style tattoos that are just with black, with no shading, but aren't done traditional. They're with a machine. So here's one, a forearm piece. I'm sure you guys seen these different ones, and I'm just walking through it. Here's another one. And obviously, these style of tattoos are influenced by a certain culture in Polynesia. I don't know the wording if someone would call it traditional tattoos because it is the style, but it wasn't done with hand tap. But it is the style, and it looks like they're influenced by Samoa, like a specific culture. But then you have a tattoo like this one, and this tattoo right here is a more modern take on a traditional tattoo. So some of the symbols in there are traditional and some aren't. Now, nowadays, in our industry and world, we modernize and change some symbols to make it more appealing, or whatever the artist feels. And a lot of the symbols today that are being used were never used traditionally, or seen or recorded used, and they're the artist's take on it, which everyone has an opinion on that. But I have to admit too, I do the same. If I feel a certain way, I'll change something. But I'm very, very sure to not say that it's a traditional symbol or traditional tattoo, because the style that I do as an artist is, it's influenced by it, but it's not traditional, and I'm very open about that. So here's another tattoo that is just all black, no shading, no shadows. And hopefully, if you guys are following along, you could see that they're all different. They all look different. They have similarities, but they all kind of look different and are all borrowing different cultures and symbols. And here's another one. Okay, here's a mix up, a mashup of different traditional symbols. And one last one right here. A lot of the reasons why I talk about this is because I'm going to refer clients to this podcast to watch and see the differences, because now I can have some visuals and show the differences in, shading, what's traditional, what's not traditional, what's the difference, does it matter? These are all questions that I get. The first set of tattoos that I showed you that were just black, mimicking some traditional tattoos, they all had a certain style just with that. Now you're going to see a certain style with the black traditional along with the shadows, because every artist has their own style of shading. So because traditional tattooing never had shading and shadows in it, everybody's take is going to be different. Everybody's style is going to be different, and they're going to be influenced differently. So pay attention to that, because when you go out and get a tattoo, you have to think about what you want. Do you want a traditional looking tattoo that's just black and skin white, black and white, or do you want shadows in it? And you have to think why. Some people want traditional to stay traditional. It's more of a meaning. And some people want shadows in it for depth. It's more appealing, and they connect with it more, and it looks good. And, everyone has their own reason. Here's another tattoo by Keoki, great tattoo artist. You guys can check him out too. I believe he tattoos out of Ink and Dagger Tattoo, Keoki Davis. And then here's another one. I believe this is Samoan Mike. If you guys don't know, check him out. The shadows is different. If we go back to Keoki, if you guys go back to this tattoo, you could see there's a lot of depth, like layers going over other layers. And that's different than this next one. In this one, it's more just hints of shadows here and there. And then let's see what else we got. All right, and on this next one, I believe this is Samoan Mike again. It's his style. Very traditional as far as the patterns go, which is very close, detailed. And then he puts in some shadows just for some depth. The shadows are more general. It's not really detailed, which is another style. But his base, his foundation is pretty traditional. It looked like that pea that you saw before. Not in the location, but as far as the design and style. And here's another one, a famous one, Roman Reigns. I'm sure you guys seen this tattoo. Very traditional as far as the symbols go. There's not a lot of shadows, but it's just like hints of shadows. Now I'm going to walk you through my style, because I can thoroughly talk about what I do. I'm going to walk you through just the steps. So if you're going to come and get a tattoo here at IslandTAT, all the artists here pretty much do the same procedures. We're going to talk with you. We're going to get to know your story, and we're going to draw the tattoo on you. Now, some artists just freehand with the machine, and they say that's how that's how you do it traditionally, and that's how it has to be done. And then you got artists like us who draw it on so you could see it. And in our way, we say that's how we do it because, we flow with the body and we do things that way. There's no right way. I mean, it's how the artist does it. That's how they do it. If you want traditional, then you can go get hand tap with traditional, ink from the kukui nut soot and the candle and, on the dirt. And I mean, you can get it traditional and there's one way or, how we do it. We go in detail when we draw it all out. And then here I start outlining it. Here's some outline. And these are all just different sessions. Now, when you leave the shop after like session 2 or session 3, and you have this outline, you're seeing it kind of develop. And there's a certain point when it's just an outline. Like basically you see a lot missing on his arm and you see where the drawing is. Imagine, more done and it's all just an outline. Here's another angle of the outline right here. Here's another angle right there. And again, this is just to show you guys the process. I like this photo because it shows half where it's shaded and half not. Here's a close-up of half not shaded and half shaded. And the shadows create depth. It creates like this 3D look. And everybody shades differently. Here's another photo right here. And then I believe this is done right there. So when I tattoo, my personal style is to shade it. If anyone gives me free reign, my feeling and what I'm connected to is the shadows and the shading. And the only reason why is because as an artist growing up, I love to draw and I would draw portraits and I like drawing 3D with shadows. And as you can see, that's not in no way traditional or has anything to do with culture. It has everything to do with my personal style. When I first started shading Polynesian tattoos, there was a lot of controversy with that because it wasn't traditional. It wasn't what you should do. I was torn on that because I felt that, I was drawn to shadow it. I didn't really have any models or references of it. I just felt like doing it. So when I was contacted about that not being traditional, I really had to think about it because I respect the culture to the utmost, but I also wanted to think about, should I be able to do what I feel if I still respect the culture, but this is my style? And in the end, I just felt like I need to follow my heart, follow my path, and just do it. And now I see a lot of people doing it. In time, I just felt this is how the transition or progress of all things happen. They evolve, which is why we're IslandTAT Evolve. We're part of the evolution of the world and of art and culture, and it's just part of it. Guys, that's just it. A lot of people say, is it wrong to shade something like this? I just told you my reasons and how I feel. You guys got to see some traditional tattoos and what it'll look like without shading. This is something that you definitely have to think about in your own opinion and what your preference, why you want the tattoo, what do you want it to look like, and all shading isn't the same. And that's why I showed you other people's work. And in my work, some people like just the hints of shadows. And the biggest thing you have to do is go look at the artist and the artist's work and go for that style because that's where he's most comfortable. Anyways, thanks for joining us and we'll see you guys next time.